Hello students, let us see the last point from unit 1, that is database system concept, and the point is data modeling using ER model. So this is outline of today's presentation. We are going to see entity relationship model, then types of attributes, symbols used in ER diagram, strong entity set and weak entity set, and ER diagrams. So in previous lecture we have seen different data models like network model, hierarchical model, relationship model. All are record based models. Then there is one entity relationship model which we are going to see today. That is a object based model. So let us see what is meant by entity relationship model. So the ER model describes the structure of database with the help of diagram, and that diagram is called as ER diagram. It represents real world entities and relationship between them. So diagrammatically all the real world entities, their properties and the relationship between these entities are represented in this entity relationship model. Here a database is modeled as a collection of entities and relationships among entities. Model is based on basic three components, and the three components are entity, attribute and relationship. In this ER model, for representing these components, different symbols are used, and diagrammatically all this data is represented. So what is an entity? An entity is an object that exists and is distinguishable from other object. For example, a person is an entity. Company or student, it is an entity. And the entities have attributes. Attribute, it means property of that entity. An attribute describes the property of an entity. For example, if we consider person entity, then that person's Aadhaar card number, person's name, address, these will be attributes or properties of that person entity. If we consider student entity, then roll number of that student, name, birth date, address, all are attributes of that student entity. Attribute means properties of that entity. Now entity set. An entity set is a set of entities of same type that share the same properties. For example, student entity means only one student having his roll number, name, birth date, etc. And student entity set means set of all the students. Suppose set of 60 students which are having same properties. All are having roll number, name, address, birth date, etc. So it is called as an entity set. Entity set is a set of entities of same type that share the same properties. For example, set of all persons, set of all students. Now relationship. A relationship is an association among several entities. So in database there may be number of entities, and relationship means association among several entities. For example, consider in case of bank application, suppose there is a customer entity. Customer entity will be having attributes like customer ID, customer name, customer address, etc. And there will be another entity in bank application which will be account entity. This account entity will be having attributes like account number and suppose balance. These are two different entities in bank application. Now here depositor, this is a relationship between these two entities, customer and account, because customer and account entities are related with each other. Customer will be having his saving account in that bank. or if there is account means it will be owned by some customer. So in this way, customer and account, these two entities are related with each other, they are associated with each other, and the relationship means association among several entities. So this is a relationship set depositor. It is association between customer entity and account entity. There are four types of relationships: one to one to many, many to one, many to many. In hierarchical model, network model also we have seen that one to one or one to many type of relationship. So let us see these types of relationship in detail. Now suppose there are two entity sets. Here left side is customer entity set and right side is account entity set. And we know that there is a relationship between these two entity sets, customer and account. Now what is types of relationship? There are four types, one to one. So what is mean by one to one relationship? So here one entity of customer relationship set, one entity from customer entity set is associated with only one entity from account entity set. This is called as a one to one relationship. So here John, it is associated with A102, means one entity from customer is associated with only one entity from account. So this is called as one to one relationship. For example, suppose in that bank customer can open only one account, no joint accounts are allowed, and no multiple accounts by same person are allowed. Okay, one customer can open only one account, he cannot open multiple accounts, he cannot open joint accounts also. So the relationship, depositor relationship becomes one to one. One entity from customer entity set is associated with only one entity from account entity set. Now second type of relationship is one to many relationship. Now consider that in that bank one customer can open one or more than one accounts also. Multiple accounts are allowed by that bank, but joint accounts are not allowed. So here you can see the customer entity John, he is having two accounts A102 and A154. He is having these two different accounts. One customer has opened two accounts in that bank, and another customer Zeri, he has opened only one account and his account number is A121. So here the bank allows to open multiple accounts by same person. So here one customer entity John associated with two account entities. So that's why this type of relationship is one to many. Here Tom is not associated with any account entity, means that customer is not having saving account in that bank. Perhaps that customer may be having loan account from that bank. That's why this Tom is not associated with any account entity. Now third type of relationship is many to one. Now consider the scenario of bank, that bank allows joint accounts, but multiple accounts are not allowed. Means one person cannot open multiple accounts, but two persons can open one account together. Joint account is possible. Here you can see the customer John and Zeri both are having one account and the account number is A102. So its meaning is that relationship is many to one. Many entities from customer entity set are associated with one entity from account entity set. So the type of relationship is many to one. Left side many and right side one. And last type of relationship is many to many. Means suppose that bank allows joint accounts also, The bank allows multiple accounts by one person also. All types of accounts are allowed by that bank. So that type of relationship becomes many to many. Here you can see the customer John is having two accounts, A102 and A121. Here customer Jerry and Tom, they are having joint account A154. So at left side also many entities are associated with many entities from right side entity set. This is called as many to many type of relationship. Now types of attributes. We have seen that every entity has attributes, and attribute means properties of that entity. There are different types of attributes. First is simple and composite attributes. So simple attribute means the attribute will be having simple value. For example, roll number attribute. That roll number attribute will be having value, numeric value, like roll number 101. So that is a simple value. So that attribute is called as a simple attribute. And second is composite attributes. So here you can see the example of composite attributes: name, address. These are composite attributes because their values are not simple. Their values are composed of some other attributes. Means name attribute. Its value is composed of first name, middle name and last name. Or suppose address attribute. Its value is composed of street, city, state, pin code. Again, value of street is composed of two other attributes like street number and street name. In this way, the attribute is composed of sub-attributes. It is composed from values of other attributes. That's why it is called as a composite attribute. Example of composite attribute is name, address. And simple attribute means attribute having only simple value, just like roll number. Then another type of attribute is single valued and multiple valued attribute. So single valued attribute means that attribute is having only single value. For example, roll number. Every student entity will be having only one roll number. It is having only one value. Or for example, first name. Every student entity will be having only one name. Or suppose class attribute of that student entity. So every student will be studying in only one class. So these are called as a single valued attributes. But there are some attributes which are multi-valued attribute. Means that attributes can take multiple values. For example, mobile number or phone number. So suppose one student is having two phone numbers. So the phone number attribute becomes multi-valued attribute. Or suppose email address. That student is having two different email addresses. Then that email address becomes multi-valued attributes because it is having more than one values. And last type of attribute is derived attributes. The value of these attributes, they are derived from values of other attributes, can be computed from other attributes. For example, age, attribute of student entity. So the value of age, it can be derived or it can be computed from his birth date. If birth date is known, then value of age can be easily calculated. So the age attribute becomes derived attribute. Or suppose percentage marks of the student. So if subject wise marks are known or total marks are known, percentage marks of that student can be easily computed. So that percentage mark becomes derived attribute because its value is derived from total marks. Again, total marks, it can be also derived attribute because total marks can be computed from subject wise marks. So these are examples of derived attributes. Now we have seen that ER diagram means Entity relationship model uses diagrammatic representation. These are called as ER diagrams. So different symbols are used in ER diagram. So the symbol rectangle, it is used to represent entity set, student entity set, customer entity set, account entity set. For representing such entity sets, rectangle symbol is used. Diamond symbol is used for representing relationship set. For example, depositor is a relationship set. It is a relationship between customer and account entity. So for representing relationship set, diamond symbol is used. Line. This symbol is used to link attributes to relationship sets and entity sets to relationship set. Means with the help of lines we can link attributes to relationship sets or entity sets, or we can link two entity sets to the relationship set. Now this ellipse symbol, it is used for representing attribute. Means student is having attribute roll number, name, address, mobile number. So representing such type of attributes, ellipse symbol is used. Double ellipse, this symbol is used for representing multi-valued attributes like email address, mobile number. Such type of multi-valued attributes are represented using double ellipse symbol. Then derived attribute like age, total marks, percentage marks, whose value is derived from value of other attributes. So these derived attributes are represented with the help of dashed ellipse symbol. Then ellipse with underline. This symbol is used for representing primary key attribute. Key attribute means its value is unique among all the entity set. Means suppose roll number is a attribute of student entity set. So roll number of every student is different. It will not be repeated. Name of that student, first name of that student may be repeated. There will be two students in the class having same name, but roll number will not be repeated. It will be having unique value. So such type of attribute is called as a primary key attribute, because that attribute value is used to identify each entity uniquely. So with the help of roll number we can identify each student uniquely. So such attributes are called as primary key attribute, and those attributes are represented with ellipse with underline below the name of that attribute. Double rectangle, this symbol is used for representing weak entity set. In further slide we are going to see what is meant by weak entity set. So for representing such type of weak entity set, double rectangle symbol is used. Also double line symbol, this symbol is also used for representing total participation of an entity in relationship set. So we are going to see these points further. Let us see what is meant by strong entity set and what is meant by weak entity set. An entity set having its own key attribute is called as a strong entity set. So every entity set is having multiple attributes. So if that entity set is having its own key attribute, then it is called as a strong entity set. For example, student entity set. Student entity set is having attribute like a roll number, name, address, mobile number, marks, etc. Birth date. So here birth date of student may be repeated. Two students may be having same birth date, or marks of two students may also be same. Perhaps name of two students may also be same, but roll number of every student is unique. So this is called as a key attribute. So the entity set which is having its own key attribute, the attribute which uniquely identifies all entities from that entity set. that entity set is called as a strong entity set. But there are some entity sets which may not have sufficient attributes to form its own primary key, and such entity sets are called as weak entity set. An entity set that does not have sufficient attributes to form a primary key is called as a weak entity set. And the existence of weak entity set, it depends on existence of identifying entity set. Means that weak entity set depends on some other strong entity set. Its existence depends on existence of identifying entity set. There is one term, discriminator or partial key. So that partial key or discriminator of weak entity set is the set of attributes that distinguishes among all the attributes of weak entity set. Weak entity set also have some attributes, but those attributes are not sufficient to form the primary key. But among these attributes, there will be some set of attributes that distinguishes among all the entities of weak entity set. That is called as a discriminator. The primary key of weak entity set is formed by primary key of strong entity set on which that weak entity set is existence dependent, plus discriminator of weak entity set, because weak entity set, it is not having its own key attribute, that's why it is called as a weak entity set. But weak entity set is having discriminator. So the primary key of weak entity set, it is formed by combining primary key of strong entity set on which that weak entity set is dependent, plus the discriminator of weak entity set. Let us see example for that. Suppose this is a loan entity set and this is a payment entity set. The loan entity set is having attributes loan number and amount, and the payment entity set is having attributes payment number, payment date, payment amount. So here in case of loan entity set, there may be multiple loans issued by that bank. So loan entity set may be having multiple rows, multiple records of loans. Every loan will be having unique loan number and amount. So loan number 1, suppose amount is 1 lakh. Loan number 2, suppose amount is 1,50,000, and so on. So here loan number cannot be repeated, it will be having unique value. Perhaps the amount may be repeated. For example, loan number 1 is having amount 1 lakh, and loan number 15, it is also having amount 1 lakh. Amount may be repeated, but loan number is unique. So this loan number is called as a primary key of this loan entity set, and that's why this underline is used here. It indicates that this is a key attribute, primary key of the loan entity set. Now every loan is associated with payment entity set. So there is a relationship between this loan entity set and payment entity set, and the name of that relationship set is loan payment. So here you can see that double rectangle is used for representing payment entity set, because here payment attributes of payment entity set are payment number, payment date, and payment amount. So suppose payment number 1, there will be some date and there will be some amount. So for loan number 1, there will be payment number 1, payment date, and payment amount. For loan number 1, there will be, if there is a second installment, then payment number will be 2, some payment date and some payment amount. Again for suppose loan number 15, loan number 15's first installment, then for loan number 15, again payment number will be 1, there will be some payment date, there will be some payment amount. Second installment of loan number 15, so again payment number will be 2, payment date, and there will be some payment amount. So here you can see that payment number is repeated. For repayment of loan number 1, payment number will be 1, 2, 3 and so on. For installments of suppose loan number L15, payment number will be 1, 2, 3 and so on. Again for installments of loan number suppose 3, L3, there will be payment numbers 1, 2, 3, 4 and so on. So in this way payment number is repeated here in payment entity set. So it cannot form the primary key. This attribute cannot form primary key because it is repeated. For key attribute the value should be unique. So it is repeated here, payment number is repeated. So this payment entity set is a weak entity set. It do not have the sufficient attributes to form the primary key, and this payment entity set is dependent on loan entity set. Loan is a strong entity set, and that's why if suppose there is no loan, then there will be no payment entity. That's why we can say every payment entity it is associated with loan entity. There will be no payment entity if there is no associated loan. So every payment entity is associated with some loan entity. That's why here total participation symbol double line is shown, because the payment entity set totally participate in this loan payment relationship. But here between loan and loan payment only single line is shown, because loan entity set do not totally participate in loan payment. Why? Suppose there is one loan number 100 L100 and that loan is recently issued. There are no repayment history of that loan. Means as that loan is recently issued, uh, installments are still not paid. So for that loan number 100, there will be no payment entities, associated payment entities. So this loan entity set do not totally participate in loan payment, because there is one entry in that loan number 100, which is not associated with any payment entity, because still that loans payment is not done, still not a single installment of that loan is paid. So it will not totally participate in this relationship. But if there is a payment entity, some loan number may be associated with it compulsory. There will be no payment without the loan number. That's why the payment entity set totally participates in this relationship. That's why double line is used here, and here relationship is also shown with the help of double diamond. Now here payment number is called as a discriminator of this weak entity set payment. Here we have seen discriminator, because this attribute, payment number attribute, it distinguishes among all the entries of weak entity set. If we consider loan number 1, then its payment, suppose 3 installments of loan number 1 are paid, then payment number 1, payment number 2 and payment number 3. These payment numbers will not be repeated for loan number 1. But if loan number 2 is considered and suppose its 2 installments are paid, then for that loan number 2, again payment number 1 and payment number 2 will be there. But for single loan, payment number will not be repeated. That's why here payment number, it can be called as a discriminator of this weak entity set. And primary key of this payment attribute, payment entity set, it is formed by combining primary key of strong entity set, means loan entity set, on which it is existence dependent. So loan number and payment number, these together form primary key of payment entity set. This is called as a composite primary key. Primary key of loan is only loan number, only one attribute works as a primary key of loan entity set. But primary key of payment entity set, it is formed by primary key of strong entity set plus discriminator of weak entity set payment. This is another example of ER diagram. Here you can see customer entity set. Rectangle symbol is used for representing customer entity set. Attributes of that customer entity set, they are represented with the help of ellipse symbol. Customer ID is attribute, name is attribute. Here customer ID is a single valued attribute as well as it is a simple attribute. But here name is a composite attribute and its value is composed of first name, middle name and last name. Here address, this is also attribute of customer. It is also composite attribute composed of street, city, state, zip code, etc. Here phone number, it is a multi-valued attribute of customer. Date of birth, simple attribute of customer entity set. Here age, it is a derived attribute of customer entity set. That's why dotted ellipse symbol is used. Its value is calculated from date of the birth attribute. Here this is account entity set. It has two attributes, account number and balance, and the attributes are connected to entity set with the help of these lines. So account number, here underline is shown because account number is a primary key attribute of account entity set. Here customer ID, it is also primary key attribute of customer entity set. Here customer and account, both entity sets are related with each other and the name of that relationship is depositor. Means customer is having account in the bank. That's why there is a relationship between these two entity sets. Name of that relationship is depositor. Here customer entity is connected to the relationship set with the help of this line. Here account entity is also connected with relationship set with the help of these lines. Here two lines are used because this account entity set totally participates in this depositor relationship. So every account entity will be having associated customer. So it is a total participation. But there will be some customers who will not be having saving account in that bank. Some customers will be having suppose loan account. So those customers will not be associated with that account entity set. They may not be participating in depositor. The customers who are having account, they are participating in this depositor relationship. But suppose there are some customers who are not having account, they are having loan, they will not participate in this depositor relationship. So only single line is used for joining customer with depositor relationship set. So this is about ER diagrams. So in this way ER model uses diagrams to represent the entities and relationship between those entities. So this brings us to the end of today's lecture. Thank you.